big show this weekend. AEW All Out
Mm-hmm.
moved the start time to early in the day. I think that ultimately worked out for them.
Yes, sir.
I think because it separated them and they were allowed to continue to run their race, put on a good show, and they didn't have to go head to head with WWE. The news cycle is still going to be what the news cycle is around
Mm-hmm.
this because it's WWE and a massive entity like ESPN. But I still think AEW came away and had a great showing.
They did. Yeah, I think it was around all the talk of moving times and what that represents. I think it totally worked out for them. They had the focus for most of the time on their show. It wasn't too many distractions. They could just do their thing without thinking we're being kind of programmed right now at this moment. They could just get to their show and do it. And I think they put on a very strong show considering, Phil, we lost some big stars coming into this. There's no Swerve, there's no Osprey, there's no Kenny, like no Dakota. There's like some big major pieces that were just here a few weeks ago for Forbidden Door are now gone, and we have to try to move forward. I think they did a lot of great things for the future. They brought back some pieces here, and they shocked me very huge in one moment here that we're going to get into.
Yeah, I did not watch the pre-show. We got let's see, about 4 matches on the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
The Ops, the team of Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs, took on the Workhorsemen in the tag team match to start the pre-show. They picked up the win, of course, on the Workhorsemen. Dan Garcia debuted his new theme music in his match with Katsuyori Shibata.
That match was tight.
He also picked up the win. Got a trios match with the team of Hologram and Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong taking on the Frat House. Of course, Hologram and the boys picked up the win. And then we got the big 8-women tornado tailgate brawl. I saw some of the clips from this. I might go back and watch this. I just didn't make time to watch the pre-show, but looks like the baby faces won. Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanada, and of course Willow Nightingale took on the team of Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and Julia Hart, Sky Blue.
Yeah, I watched a bit of the pre-show. The best parts are probably like in the Ops and Workhorseman match. Hobbs did this bit. He might have done it before where he does a lot of body slams. He ended up body slamming Anthony Henry like 10 times in a row. And so the crowd was like going crazy. I'm like, when you can get over on legit day one wrestling school moves, and like that's a big deal. Like that means something. Anthony Henry, good to see him back. He had injured his knee, I believe it was, very gruesomely. So seeing him back in there was great. He was tearing it up in there with Samoa Joe and the big homie Daniel Garcia. I'm a big fan of his new theme. I think it fits him in the Death Riders. I think he looks great in there. The match with Shibata was really good. Like his new kind of attitude, it works for what Daniel Garcia is trying to be. Him adding the curb stomp to his arsenal, super dope stuff.
I'm here for it. I like the music. I liked his entrance. I like that he's changed his gear. He's gone with the fight trunks and like the hoodie and the do-rag. I'm in. I like it.
They do have to address him and Yuta though. I see that they're not next to each other for a lot of this. They got to talk about this.
I said this elsewhere, but I think one of Brodito's next upcoming challengers should be Dan Garcia and Wheeler Yuta as a tag team.
I'm liking this.
It does. Based on one of the results we got on the show, I do think they're setting up another tag match that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we started the show with a lot of Canadian references that I didn't understand.
I didn't get it.
I was like, and the crowd were popping big for him. I was like,
they loved it.
I don't know what any of this means. But Christian and Cope took on the team of FTR. A lot of fanfare went into this. Dax took a gnarly microphone to the face on Wednesday, and he was gushing blood. I don't think anybody's surprised. He had a broken nose.
You can see when the shot happened on Wednesday, like, oh, there was some sauce on that one. That was a little extra. And immediately he's gushed on the show. So I was like, oh, he has a broken nose. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that looked crazy. I thought that the stuff on Wednesday in particular really sold me on this feud.
Yeah.
Um, the match itself, I thought it was good. I thought it was an okay start to the show. But it came off one of those matches that was just fine. But it feels like they have more in the tank. This is just kind of
Yes.
like the start to this feud, and I'm fine with that. I think
Mhm.
as something to put in front of the Toronto crowd and give them the feel good win of CNC picking up the win. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, it felt like a really perfect way to kind of start the show. Like you said, those references. There's some Trailer Park Boy stuff that I was like, I don't know what this is. But the crowd is super hot for Edge's entrance or Cope's entrance, and him teaming up a Christian and them doing some of their signature spots and them getting to that. Them doing some other people's signature spots. Philip
Mhm.
Lindsay.
Yeah, we got Cena doing the spear in some of
Uh-huh.
his matches leading up to this, and so Copeland returned the favor in this match. He did the five knuckle shuffle and then an attitude adjustment. I thought that was a nice moment. I thought the moment of both Christian and Cope using each other's finishers was also
Mhm.
dope. There was a lot of stuff in this that I did like. It just felt like it didn't really hit that second gear that I would have hoped that it would. But again, this feels like there's more matches on the way, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it didn't hit that FTR next gear when they get into that desperation and both teams are fighting, fighting, fighting. But this felt like a good appetizer for what was to come. And I think what happened here with the end of the match and the surprise debut is going to really enhance the next match.
Yeah, agreed. FDR is just they're on a great tear as a team. They're so much better as heels. I thought the way that they
Way
worked in this
better.
match was really really great. The
Mhm.
Shatter Machine and stuff they hit at one point, great stuff. Yeah, we got the big moment to start this show. Beth Copeland
Mm.
making her debut with AEW. As somebody, as soon as Cope showed up in AEW, I was like, "Hey, your wife still like wrestling?" Or because there's a lot of wrestlers over there that I would like to see Beth wrestle. And so the second
A
she showed up,
bunch.
I was like, let's get to it. Get the Statlander match. Let's get the Athena match. Let's get to all of the big matches. Like,
Megan Bain. Like, there's so many
come on,
people
man.
back there I want to see you against.
And there is a cool aspect to this that this was like one of the big wrestling weekends of the year, and two of the wrestlers from the Divas era are like fixtures in that. That was really cool to see for both Beth and AJ. But yeah, as soon as she came out, I was like, yeah, I'm back to my agenda, guys. Beth versus Chris Statlander. Get to it as soon as possible. I don't know who I have to bug to make this happen, but please make this happen.
Good timing too for what happens later in the show. Yeah, that was super unexpected. Like, I knew there was always an opportunity for Beth to come in just because Cope is here, and like eventually if she still, like you said, likes wrestling, you definitely should give her a shot because there's so many people, so many women's wrestlers back there that will love the opportunity to get in the ring with you or do any kind of, or just learn from you, any type of thing that Beth is going to bring to the company. I think is going to enhance it. I didn't expect it here. Her coming and chasing off Stokely, I thought was hilarious. That kind of fit perfectly of carrying him off. The pop for her when they finally figured out, because it's not her theme from WWE, so it's kind of a Mikey Ruckus type deal. Then it pops up on the screen and everybody's like, oh shit, and she comes down. Big fanfare. But I think what FTR did to her and catching her, they got Cope in the corner, handcuffed to the ropes. Christian's out. They give Beth the spike pile driver. Looks fun. They run out of there fast as hell. I'm like, this is like old school 1985 tag team wrestling with some
Mhm.
angles that you would see back in the day. And I loved it.
Yeah, Cope really likes this angle. He's done this a few times now of his wife being attacked by somebody, and he's just like, "No, leave her alone." And he's like
Christian
chained to
does
something,
it.
like get off her. He's done this quite a few times, but I thought it worked here. I thought it added another notch to this feud. It added more to make this a bitter rivalry. Um, Big shout out to Dax. What a trooper coming in and wrestling this match after breaking his nose on Wednesday. And man, he sold all of Beth's offense
He did.
like a maniac. That was great. It felt like the two of them had to put her away, which I think that went a long way for her. So that when you do bring her back and put her in matches, that's going to be a big deal. Athena's already been like, that's my dream match. So feels like if there is not a contract for her, what are we waiting on? Come on.
Athena didn't care about nothing. She didn't care about the rest of the show. She saw Beth and was like, give me the match. That's all I care about. You know, this is my dream match. Book it right now. Book that shit for Wednesday. We don't care. We don't have to sell the angle. Now, definitely sell the angle, but we want that match. There's a bunch of matches like Phil and I described that Beth would be amazing in.
Yeah, no, there's literally a list of them. Like, let's get pen to paper and let's make this happen. Eddie Kingston made his return in the 10 Toes Down Wheat Tim's Invitational against Big Bill. I have my issues with the way we got here. I know that we're trying to make it feel like a big moment of Eddie having the match here and not showing up on TV. I think that Eddie should have at least had a promo on TV or in front of a live crowd before this. And given the way this match went, I kind of wish he had a match before this because he did show quite a bit of rust.
He did.
And I thought Big Bill, for the most part, looked good. I could see why Eddie wanted the match with Big Bill if that was his choice. Because I thought that this did a lot for Big Bill. He looked great, but I don't know that this needed to be a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, this was not a pay-per-view match. And I think I kind of understand both sides because with Eddie's rust, you don't want to bring him back immediately into like the world title thing or like into like a big feud or an angle. You want to come back and let him knock some of that ring rust off. It's been 16 months, Phil. It's a long time.
It's a long time. And he had a gnarly injury, bro.
Nasty as you can get with your leg. Training in a ring compared to there's fucking 13,000 people out here. It's a big moment. We're wrestling on a pay-per-view show. Two completely things. So even if two completely different things, even if they had this all down in the back, you get their nerves, you're just figuring out what your space is. Eddie doesn't know how he wants to work moving forward. And he's trying to figure these things out. So these are things you don't want to be figuring out on pay-per-view, I think is the thing, Phil, like you're saying, like this would have been better to see on Dynamite, seeing Eddie back, him coming with the promo, all the things that kind of make us love Eddie. We didn't get that first because it was kind of like coming back off vibes because I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, Eddie Kingston might be washed or Eddie Kingston, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, the thing that makes Eddie Kingston great was here, and there's just more that needs to be enhanced. He never was a 5,000 miles per hour wrestler. He never was all that. He worked exactly how Eddie Kingston usually worked. There's a couple of miscommunications, but that's just kind of the game. He's been out for 16 months.
Yeah, that clip was going around of Mox and Eddie making their entrance at Double or Nothing in the Daily's place, and I believe that was like AEW's first big live crowd after the pandemic, and like just that visual of them like walking around in a crowd and Eddie is swinging around the Young Buck shoes, tribal thief before it was cool to be a tribal thief. And man, just the vibe of it was just that atmosphere in there, and just like Eddie and Mox together, and Eddie is like hyped up for this crowd. Like it just was different, and I think it would have gone differently if we had more going into this pay-per-view, because Big Bill did really most of the heavy lifting to build towards this match on TV.
He did.
And I just think we could have got at least one Eddie promo. I think it would have changed things, even if it was just like a video package with him doing a promo, something.
Like the cameras with him at his physical therapy or showing him in the ring. Like the draw of Eddie Kingston is when he talks and he sells that everything he has is in this next match, and he has to do this to Big Bill because he has to support his family. When you get into that, that's what makes a match mean more. If you just announce matches, and I like it, Phil, I think like one of the matches on this show was that Mercedes and Rio. Like you could just announce a match and it's going to be great. But some people that are not sickos are going to need more to really get fully invested into the matches.
Yeah. The finish also wasn't great. Which, you know, which was fine. But I don't think this needed to be a pay-per-view match.
That's fine. I like them announcing that Eddie's going to be back and he's blah blah blah. But I would have worked it a little bit different,
Yeah,
considering.
I would probably have handled it different. We got Mark Briscoe taking on MJF and a tables and tax match. This was I did not know what to expect of this stipulation, but I did enjoy this match quite a bit. Again, I do think that MJF was one of the MVPs of this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Um, Started with Mark Briscoe pouring buckets upon buckets of tacks in the ring. It was just like him at one point just walking around in a circle, pouring these tacks endlessly on the ground. And MJF gets in the ring and he's just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And so, man, brilliant way to do something different with tax, because we
Yep.
see tax used so much in death matches and these hardcore style matches that it feels very cliche at this point. And when you're building a stipulation around the tax and tables, it's like, okay, what are they going to do with tax in this match that we've never seen before? But
Right.
I was genius to straight away put all the tax on the ground and
Mm-hmm.
then build anticipation for the first bump onto the tax. And so you kind of did a similar thing that you did with the Mystico and Max match, where Max immediately took the advantage and he started, you know, raking Mark's face into the tax and like slamming him
Mm-hmm.
around. And so when he finally get slammed into the tax himself and he gets come up and the crowd reacts to short.
Yeah, this was another old school style match. Max did them back to back of like it wasn't a spot foo, it was building to the moments. When Mark Briscoe, like you said, Phil, when they announced this match, I was like, what does that mean? Tax and tables, like we've seen a million tax, we've seen a million tables. What could you really mean? And then Mark Briscoe's like, in the promo, there's going to be a lot of text. I'm like, you've heard wrestlers say that before, but are there really? Then you
He
get
was
to the
lying.
match and you're like, yeah, I'm like, oh, goddamn, there's a lot of text in the ring, dog. The entire mat is covered in text. And so when Max attacks him and he hits that first, or he hits that Alabama slam, and I was like, you know what? Stop this match. Like, I don't. Doing an Alabama slam on a regular mat is intense. It's one of the hardest bumps in wrestling. It hurts. Doing it with tacks and Mark Briscoe's bald head is absorbing all the tacks. I was like, this is disgusting, dude. And then Max starts raking him, like you said, against the tacks. I was like, this is kind of a nasty a match. And like I was describing earlier, Max is wearing all white. So at one point, Mark Briscoe's bloody. There's blood everywhere. He had Max locked up, or he had Mark locked up between his legs. So eventually, his white pants are covered in blood. Very disgusting looking visual for Max. And people started getting their bits off, but the match was too intense for anybody to care about that. Them slowly building to the big bumps, the big froggy bow through the table, them utilizing the tables in those way, I think were great. Max working the heel thing of like trying not to totally utilize the weapons because he know they'd be better of him getting in the tax or better of Mark utilizing it and trying to go against the stipulation, but also at the same time using that stipulation to punish Mark Briscoe and hitting him with that big Alabama slam, a back body drop, and all these kind of nasty spots. I thought this was one of the best matches of the show, honestly.
Yeah, very well executed match. Great
Mm-hmm.
storytelling throughout this match. MJF, like you said, utilizing the stipulation when he felt like it. But then, um, because these kind of matches have been such a big part of wrestling now, especially with AEW, and Max understands, all right, the crowd wants to see violence and they want to
Right.
see me go through like a table or something stupid. So I'm not doing nothing. Oh, this table, I'm putting this right back
Mm-hmm.
under the ring. I'm throwing this away. Like I'm not giving you guys anything you want, which is a very heel thing to do. So when we do get the actual big spots, they're more impactful. They hit harder. The big froggy bow through the table was crazy. I thought the finish to this was really good.
Yeah.
Big surprise win for Mark Briscoe. I did not think that Max would lose back-to-back matches.
Nope.
But Mark really needed this win. He's lost so many of these big pay-per-view matches. I really thought coming in, this was going to go the same way as the Ricochet match where, he had this heated feud and then Ricochet ended up picking up the win coming out of it. But then Mark Briscoe is kind of Teflon because people love this guy. So I thought, Max is probably going to win, but, they'll probably push the Mark win down the road. I'm glad that I was wrong about that because Mark needed this win.
I think there needs to be like, if you invoke Jay's name, if you bring that up in the feud to this, you got to give Mark a victory in one of these things because it looked crazy if you're talking crazy about his brother and his family and then beating him at the end. So I love that element of Max just talked too much shit and Mark came through and showed him, and especially like utilizing, he just had a match last night. He's kind of fucked up off of the Mystico stuff. So I'm going to capitalize on that and get this victory. Well earned for Mark Briscoe. I think that there needs to be more high profile victories like that because he, like you said, he's Teflon. The fans love him. He's earned one of those spots of AEW fans are going to love this guy forever, I think.
Yes. And just what he represents to a lot of wrestling fans, even before he came to AEW, he definitely represents like that blue collar guy. And so, of course, Max coming out as being like a white collar guy and having the all white on, that worked very well here. And then to your point of him, saying way too much about Jay in the build to this. And that way it felt even more cathartic when Mark wins with the J Driller at the end. I thought that was the perfect finish for this. I like this way more than I expected to.
Me too. The thumbtacks were disgusting. The picture that Bryce posted with a gazillion thumbtacks in his boots, I'm like, that was ridiculous, you guys. But yeah, I love the kind of, because there was a variety on the show. It's different than all the other matches. It wasn't 1,000 miles per hour. It was very old school worked and added on to Max being the MVP of this weekend. Incredible performance by the guy.
Yes. I thought that the show really picked up with the trios match. The newly Christian, the Demand, Ricochet and Gates of Agony came out with their one-piece Admiral jackets on. Very funny to take on the Hurt Syndicate team of Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and of course MVP. It will never get old to me watching these big men throw people around. It just works. Hurt Syndicate comes out to their theme song. The theme song is still over, and then they just like toss people around. And bro, every time, like Shelton Benjamin is on my list of all-time favorite wrestlers. Like I think like his early WWE run and just stuff like greatest tag team ever and like the Team Angle stuff, like his singles run that he went on. I've always been a big Shelton guy. Seeing him still wrestle at this level has been so much fun. And God, his super kicks, like his suplexes in this match, he's so good, man.
The way that he be flipping Ricochet, Phil, was like just like this. Oh, Ricochet's over here. I'm gonna flip him like that. It's like you shouldn't be able to flip a guy like this. And like you said, the super kicks are crazy on points. The moments of Khan and Toa with both Lashley and Shelton are like, this is what it should be all about. Just get some big meaty men, like they say, it's cliche, to just throw leather against each other. These guys all in there, just moments of Toa's tossing somebody, Lashley's tossing somebody, Khan's punching somebody, Shelton, just like so many of those moments where those aspects are great. And then MVP's in there, like we were talking about earlier, with his working boots on. He didn't look like, I'm MVP, the manager. This is going to be this one-off match where I play this like swarmy guy trying to get my moments. Like he's like, no, I'm a part of this. I'm throwing fulls too. You're seeing some of my signature moves. He looked confident. He looked good in there. Like I was excited to see, like they said earlier, Unk in this match.
Yeah. Ricochet was bumping like crazy in this thing.
Unreal.
I hate how people had Ricochet fucked up.
It's crazy.
he's so good as well. Just like knowing when to get his flippy stuff in and do like this unworldly athletic stuff, and then he can also get like his comedy stuff in. He still does these like hilarious sales, like the way he just like falls out sometimes, or like the way he had to be like dragged out of the ring like he's dead. Fucking hilarious, man. The guy is really really funny to me.
And then he still can flip better than anybody. Like he's still like you see all the other high flyers, and you're like, oh, Ricochet can do all that, but he doesn't because that's not a part of his character now. It's crazy.
Just tremendous talent, man. Being able to take that and add that to this heel persona where, you know, he still does very crowd pleasing offense, but he's managed to do all these other things that work with this character. The way that he squealed when he got that like back body drop. What a guy. Man, totally on it, bro. Like the match he had on Wednesday, bro.
Yes.
That was great. Khan looks like $1,000,000. Like these two guys together, like
I
they got to figure it out with these two guys as a tag team or singles wrestler because they're so good.
Trios.
Like something, they're just so good. And like you said, those guys throwing leather in this match that hit very well. MVP, they definitely tried to spotlight this as okay, he's been our mouthpiece all this time, but he can still wrestle if
He
we
can fight
need him to. And man, he, you know, this was all of the greatest hits for him. He had all his big moves. Balling, of course. He looked great. That punch he threw Wednesday, bro. That punch he threw at Ricochet Wednesday, and then slammed him into the barricade. I was like, "Yo, wait."
Now that punch was like I've been waiting. Like there was something behind it. Like it was some sauce on that too.
Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, he was really great here. But I thought the whole purpose of this was to put him in here and show, yeah, he can still wrestle. He still looks good, but he is like, for the lack of better words, the wink link of this trio. And so I do very much buy the reports. There's going to be a fourth member. I thought that the whole story to this and the demand picking up the win here to set up more to come from this feud. And man, based on this match, cannot wait for this. I legitimately think this is Hurt Syndicate's best match with the company by far.
Yep.
This was a lot of fun, man. And man, if we're getting more of these kind of trios matches between these two teams, can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think the addition of Gates of Agony with Ricochet then becoming Demand, perfect pairing. I think everybody has been great. Toa has been excelling and shining, standing next to Ricochet and just looking like a fucking maniac. Him in there with Lashley is just like money. Seeing the one-on-one and seeing this was like, okay, these guys have chemistry. People want to see this. When they ended up taking Gates and Lashley and Sheldon were all taken out at the end, and you just are like, this could go on for a while. They could have feuded for the championships. I hated that when they were the tag team champions, that the match was kind of just the Hurt Syndicate throttling Gates of Agony because they have so much, and we saw it here. I don't know what they're doing with Ricochet. Like, I think he could be an opponent for Hangman going in here eventually. But this trios thing could also be trios champions. Like, I think there's a lot of movement for that team.
I would mind Toa and Khan winning the tag titles off of Brodito. I think that they're a great tag team, and they've been long overdue, like an actual run with those belts.
Definitely.
So I would mind going that route with it. I do think that Ricochet should eventually challenge Hangman. Which, speaking of, Bobby was great in this match, but the more and more I watch them, Bobby is not a tag team wrestler, and it's not that Bobby doesn't fit here because he can't fit in the confines of a tag team. I feel like he's shrinking himself to fit in the confines.
He's just bigger than a tag team. That's all.
He feels like a big star next to these guys. He's the biggest guy in that ring. He just feels special, and I don't know that it will hurt. I don't know how we get there. I don't know that it would hurt putting a world title on this guy because he's just it's he's just so special, man. It's something
Yeah.
to him. I don't think that he has scratched the surface as a singles wrestler with
No.
this company yet. And I'm not saying he should be Hangman,
Mm-mm.
but if you want to put like the unified belt on him somewhere down the line, something, I think you've got to take the gamble because you've got such a special talent in this guy. And there's not a bunch of guys in that company that match up that well up against him.
Mm-hmm.
And setting him up as this big monster heel champion could really work for you.
Definitely. I think they have to see what they have in him as a heel. They have to let him
Yeah.
not a heel as a single star. They have to really let him go for it. Cause I think, like you said, he has aura when he's in the tag match. He feels like everybody's a big star in this, but he's like a superstar.
It's
He feels
different,
like a
man.
big, what he looks like, how he moves, like everything about him is like, oh, this is like a world champion
Yeah. This
style
this
guy, you
this
know?
is a big world champion / prize fighter guy. That's what
Mm-hmm.
he should be doing.
Yeah, and I think if he could immediately be slotted, like if Tony announced on Dynamite, oh, we're doing a tournament to crown the next number one contender. If he won that, people would believe it so much. And I think
Yeah.
he could do it as a heel and a face just because of what he fucking looks like.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I love this match. Some of the stuff in the first half of the show, I don't think really got over as well as I would have liked it
A
to.
little bit,
It
it started
wasn't.
out a little slow.
Yeah, the show didn't start great, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it really kicked into another gear with this, and then it
Yes,
didn't
sir.
really let up after this match. I thought afterwards, like the second half of the show was really good.
Hot, 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 hot.
We got Mercedes Moné taking on Rio for the AEW TBS Championship. Mercedes keeps trying to find interesting ways to come out there and have other people hold all her belts. Um, that was funny. Rio coming into this match, a lot of people were talking about her rush from her match last week. I thought she looked a lot better this week in the Renegade match with
Yeah.
Robin. There was none of that in this match, though. I thought she looked great.
Zero rust.
I thought there was a concerted effort from Mercedes to make her look really, really good. Of course, coming into this was one of the matches that Mercedes wanted coming into the company. This was one of the first big interactions with like a AEW wrestler. This was one of those things also on this show that I felt like, man, 2025 has really been the year of day one AEW fans eating good again, having Rio back in the mix and wrestling, like Hangman being champion and some of the other stuff happening on the show. I'm like, God, day one AEW fans are eating real well.
Yeah. This match was, if this was on any other card, this would have been the best match of the show. This match was so fucking good. And this is the moment that I hated that Canadian crowd the most, because they did not give these women what they deserve, dog. They were cooking, Phil. At one point, they started exchanging head dropping suplexes, and I was like, wait a second, we are locked into something else. Rio's confidence in this, I don't think I've ever seen her this confident. At the beginning of the match, she looked like there wasn't anything in the world that could fucking stop her. When she started going with the double stomps off the apron, double stomp off the announce desk, and she was just like, her look of like, I'm winning this match. I don't give a fuck that Mercedes is here. I was like, yo, Rio's locked in, dog.
Yeah, no, they had Rio a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Her confidence during the entrance really showed. Like there was certain moves she was hitting when she hit the stomp on the outside and then stood up on the desk and put her finger up. I was like, oh, yo, all right. She hit the CEO dance. I was like, nah, listen, come on. But I also think that Mercedes in there with Joshi wrestlers, bro.
Mercedes, yeah, that's it.
When
that's all it is.
That drop kick she hit that looked like I was like, bro, hold on. Is she okay? Like the way that she's like Rio slammed to the ground afterwards, I was like, oh my God. Like some of the contortions and stuff Rio was hitting in this match also, like to set up like the single crabs and stuff.
Yeah.
The big crossbody she does that always looks incredible.
Mercedes too, though. Like you said, her with Joshi wrestlers, that Meteora that she hit, that perfect Meteora on the outside that she hit. And when she gets into like, oh, I can do strong style too, I'll drop you on your fucking head. Yo, I'm telling you, this match right here, when they got into Mercedes is in this run has been really good at counter wrestling. She gets
Yes.
locked into this, like, I can figure out, like, I'm going to do one step better than you to win this match. And I'm going to figure out all the ways to try to counter your shit. When she gets locked into, I'm the champion and this is all mine, there's not a better wrestler than her.
Yeah, no, this match was really, really good. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, if this was any other card, this probably would have been match of the night. Still one of the best matches of this weekend.
So good.
Mercedes just does not have bad pay-per-view matches anymore. She had a run right after All Out last year where she just has not missed, and this is yet another banger to add to that list of great matches.
She has not had a bad match since the Doctor. That's crazy. An entire year of not bad matches. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, she has been really cooking. Really, man, again, really happy to see Rio back in the mix and having big matches. Hopefully, they've got more for Rio coming out of this. I like that they've been doing this stuff with Mercedes as TBS champion, where it's just kind of like the challenger of the month thing. Just set up the match, and then we'll find out like how is Mercedes going to work her way out of this. Like she always makes the other wrestler look good, and then like she narrowly escapes with her belt. I'm ready for them to move on from this TBS title run.
Yeah, that's it.
And I don't think it's that she's doing anything bad. I think that the run has served.
Matches are fire.
Yeah, I think the matches are fire. I think it served its purpose. There's kind of a logjam with the mid card for the women, and that's also why I hope they're announcing tag titles. But I just think she's outgrown this belt, and I think it's time to put her in more storylines.
That's
like,
it.
She's had so many great matches. We know that this is what she does well. We know that she can do great matches with anybody they put her in there with. But I'm ready for them to give her like a storyline and like some feuds to really sink her teeth into.
I think because that's the distinction between her and Tony's run. Like when you look at what it is, Tony has the strong stories, Tony has the strong promos, Tony has the strong angles going into all the matches, so they feel more important. I think that's part of the reason that I was mad at the Canadian crowds, and I could get mad at some of the crowds when they comes to Mercedes, is because most of the stuff is like this. It's like, we're sickos, Phil. So when they announce Mercedes and Rio, we're like, oh shit, that's gonna cook. Like you don't need a lot to sell us on why that's gonna be fire. But a lot of people want stories. They want these one-on-one in-ring promos. They want backstage segments. They want all the things that get you invested into the match. And a lot of the times in Mercedes moments, we haven't gotten that. And that's all we want. So we feel like if she is in the AEW women's world title division, that it'll just mean more if she's challenging or chasing, or her importance will just be a little bit bigger. And I think that there's so many women, like you said, there's a logjam of like Sky and Thekla and Willow and all these women that the TBS title, if it was a little bit more accessible or you felt like other people were going to win it, I think it'll represent more in the company.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, excellent match.
Fire.
Yeah, both of them just really showed up. Then we got match of the night for me, probably match of the entire weekend. Kazuchika Okada taking on Konosuke Takeshita and Mascara Dorado.
Yes.
Dorado stole the show in this
easily
match. Stole the show probably in this entire pay-per-view.
Yeah.
He was incredible throughout this match. He started hot and it felt like, okay, again, it was one of those things where it was so smart to try to get to the point where what fans came to see. The fans came to see Takeshita versus Okada.
Right.
It felt like, okay, well, here's some Dorada as a side dish. Here's a garnish of Dorada. And everybody was like, well, Dorada's going to eat this pin. Dorada came in like, all right, hold on a second. And like, bro, he was going crazy at the beginning of this match when Takeshita finally had to like shut him down outside the ring to try to get to Okada. And that was kind of the thing throughout this match where every time they kept having their interactions, he kept jumping back in the fray. And Takeshita was like, look, get out of here.
I had one purpose, to come in this match and fuck Okada up, and every time we start to square up, here you come with a Hurricane Rana off the damn top rope. The way that Dorada came out the gate with that hot lucha shit, I don't know if I've ever seen a 100% lucha performance like Dorada put on in this triple threat match. Everything was on point. It was like he had been doing this forever. Every Hurricane Rana hit, every arm drag hit, every
Bro.
dive hit, like everything was like he was wrestling on 100. He got the fucking Mario, like he was just going ham, dog. Like there was nothing he could do wrong in this match. And that element that you talked about of Okada trying to be like, hold on, stop. And Takeshita being like, I got to knock this fool the fuck out so I can square up with Okada, just added to such a great match. Okada is still Okada. Like another got him fucked up wrestler. They talked a lot of shit. They call him lazy. They call him all these things. He's had a bunch of great matches. This match wrestler, right here, when he turns into I'm Okada, what are you peasants doing in the ring with me? I'm just going to drop kick your fucking face off. When he turns into that guy, it's crazy. And Takeshita in here like, I'm sick of Dorada. I'm sick of everybody saying that this match is Okada's to win. We're just going to eat pins and I'm going to knock everybody's heads off. Like all those elements together made for, like you said, the match of the night.
Yeah, we've got basically a year-long build to Takeshita having tension with this guy from last year's Fatal 4-Way at All Out, and then getting into this match and like him kind of showing back up like Hove when he showed up to the Rockefeller building and Cam is there like, wait a minute, what is he doing here? And so, yeah, more and more throughout this matchup, Takeshita having to basically try to kill Dorada to get him out of the way. And then we get like these small sample servings of what a Takeshita and Okada match could look like. I'm ready. Every time like they had any kind of back and forths in this match, it was great. Okada still has the best drop kick in wrestling. Just how precise it looks, like the way it looks like he like floats in air when he does it. Just like the fact that he can hit it so sudden, just amazing.
It's sudden, but you know it's coming. That's what makes it so good. It's like Okada's about to drop kick right now, but his opponent does not know. And then he hits it and it's perfect and it's right in their mouth. And you're like, holy shit, this guy is Okada. He's the best big match wrestler that we've had in a long time.
Yeah. Of course, we got like Dorada's innovative offense here. Like some of the stuff he was doing was like insane, but man, still Takeshita, he's still hitting a great German. Some of the counters he was hitting was great. Like some of the like deadlift moves he was doing were just like this guy, man.
The last ride that he hit on Dorada and almost drove him through the fucking mat,
bro. But like you said, Okada still being the master of waiting for you to make a mistake and then capitalizing on it at the perfect time. He does it every time. He'll sit and let you get comfortable and think, oh, well, I got a chance of winning this match. And then he'll turn around and go, wait a minute. You sure? So getting all the way to the closing stretch of this match and Takeshita gets the rod out of the way, like counters out of that Rainmaker. And then he takes one more run off the ropes that he probably should have. And that sets him up to get hit. And then Okada turns right around, hits Dorada with the Rainmaker. One,
gets
2, 3,
out of there.
Pick the win, gets the win, and gets out of there. You don't have the visual pin of Okada beating Takeshita. You have him sneakily waiting for him to make a mistake and capitalizing it on Dorada and getting out of there. Very, very well done. The one-on-one match here is going to be godly. The babyface turn for Takeshita is going to hit.
It's happening.
It is going to hit hard. Like, I cannot wait till we get that. And I do think this guy is going to be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion by the end of this year.
That was my next question. Do you think they do the one-on-one with him as the champion? Because Okada, even if it's not for the belt, challenging the IWGP champion sounds crazy. And that added element to this match of them both being champions and what epic thing that's going to lead to is insane.
Yeah, I believe the match coming up with Zack Sabre is in October. I very selfishly would like Takeshita to win this belt and Okada to challenge him at World's End because it would be here and the Mecca of pro wrestling, Chicago, Illinois.
I thought you just wanted a good match. You're being selfish because you get to be there
I,
live.
selfishly would like for it to happen here.
Tired of y'all.
But I do think that Takeshita is winning that belt. I
Here.
do think that Takeshita is going to walk into the Tokyo Dome as champion.
Agreed.
And just based off the way that they handled Tsuji's exit from the G1, I would not be shocked if Tsuji is going to be his challenger.
That's coming up a couple weeks here. Takeshita challenging for that belt. So, we'll see.
But yeah, what a incredible match. All three of these guys, like
fire.
Incredible. I mean, the fact that Dorada managed to steal the show in there with two of the best wrestlers in the world right now, two like big wrestlers that have wrestled in the Tokyo Dome, have had like these big moments, and man, like I said, Dorada felt like, man, he was incredible. Like I cannot overstate how good he was.
And Phil, we might have to have a conversation about AEW and their triple threat matches, because they might be the industry leader at this point. Because when they put together a big triple threat match with top players, it hits every time.
Yeah. Match of the night, though.
Yes.
Jon Moxley took on Darby Allin in a coffin match. I was curious to see what Darby was going to do in this coffin match, because I wasn't sure he was going to do something absolutely nuts. Jon Moxley, man, what a year for this guy, man. Starting this year, I was not high on a lot of stuff that this guy was doing with Death Riders. This group has completely turned around. I'm in again with the Death Riders. Jon Moxley has been having great matches. He had a really good match with Dan Garcia on Collision. I thought the world title match he had here at Aragon Ballroom with Hangman was also good. And this match was also good. This was a very Darby match. Darby jumping on Mox from the beginning because he's got all of this pent up frustration with Mox. He tried to kill his hero. We got the great build to this in the stuff from the countdown, where Brian whispers in his ear because he promises not to interfere in this match. Because of course Brian was on commentary. Brian was fantastic on commentary, by the way.
Amazing. All night. Just added such an extra element of passion and knowledge, and something that AEW is kind of missed. He really enhanced the broadcast.
Yeah, he was really great. And I thought he was particularly great during this match because he's such a big part of the story for this match.
We know that he whispered, "I'm gonna have that thing on me" to Darby and the in the little promo.
Yeah, so he's trying to, basically stay out of it, recuse himself from the situation, and you can tell he's getting like more and more heated throughout the match. Like at one point when the Death Riders are getting involved, and he's just like, basically like, Darby tried to step in there to save me. Why isn't anybody coming out to help him? Which is a great point. Why isn't anybody coming out to help him? But it's kind of to Garcia's point, and him kind of turning around and going like, wait a minute, where's everybody? Like everybody got their big victory parade, and like everybody had their party when Hangman won, and now where's everybody? Everybody's gone. I was the one that was the front line for this all along, and now everybody's just like moved on like it's over. And I think that's why he also came around to Mox's point, like, wait a minute, y'all are exactly what he's been saying about y'all. Y'all get complacent, y'all over celebrate when something good happens. Like, so I love that aspect of it. I love Brian throughout this match throwing little jabs in there, throwing little things in there. When Mox has Darby on the ground, he's beating on him, and it looks like he's getting ready to win the match. He kisses him on the forehead and says, I love you. It's not like the other guys. And Brian on commentary is like, Jon Moxley said he loves me too, and he sounds so hurt. I was like, man, God.
So you can't have that with anybody else. Like, he just connects, and he knows how to sell an angle, as we saw here. Darby Allin, Phil, we all know, disgusting individual. There's so many spots in this match that I was
crazy
like,
guy.
What is wrong with him? Why are you doing that? He has Mox is holding up the coffin like he's gonna put him up mummy style, and Darby dives out of the ring, and they both get locked into the coffin. The he takes a Death Rider on top of the coffin at one point. There's so many nasty elements of this. Got really disgusting when at one point we had the return of, for about 3 seconds, I thought was the debut of Wade Barrett. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck is Wade Barrett doing? It didn't make sense to me, Phil. My brain was like, wait, this cannot be Wade Barrett. I don't think this doesn't make sense. But when they
I've got some bad news for you, Darby Allin.
Wait a second. What is Wade Barrett doing? He got some bad news. Now they switched the camera angle, and it's your boy Pac is back, new haircut, living his life.
Wearing clothes.
Wearing clothes. He has a shirt on. Unbelievable. Like he's switched to a different thing. And he proceeds to murder Darby Allin on pay-per-view. Awesome bombs him from the ring onto the top of a coffin on the outside of the ring. Just violent, disgusting stuff. But it was amazing to see Pac back. Much needed in this company to see the boy back.
Yeah. Big fan of Pac. The way that he kicked Darby when he first showed up, I was like, oh my God. And then, like you said, I was like, wait, who is this guy? Like, then I was like, wait, Pac your hair. And then I was like, he's wearing street clothes. Like, what's happening here?
It makes sense.
and then, like you said, fucking annihilate him, hit him with the awesome bomb, and then like destroyed him, put him in a coffin, and then of course Mox like drags himself over there and pushes the coffin closed. Like he did this because, of course, it's been one of the through lines of this whole character he's been doing of like, ha ha ha, you thought you were gonna win, ha ha ha, I got you, I did the work here. It was all part of the plan,
and I think that might play into because Moxley maybe not be long for being the leader of the Death Riders because the look that Pac was gonna drop the top on Darby, but he looked at Mox and Mox was like,
we're
you know who dropped the tops here? It's me.
We're seeing it more and more, these side eyes at Moxley. Claudio looked at him at one point when they were beating up Ospreay at the end of the last pay-per-view, like, why are we doing this? Like, it feels like they're all kind of looking around like you've kind of lost the plot here. I do think we're getting closer to him being jumped out of this group. And if it were me, I do think that Dan Garcia should be the new leader. I think that it makes a lot of sense for Garcia to be the guy that throws him out. I don't know. I also think we're closer to him turning face as well.
That's a big part of it for me too.
I just see like the signs of it. But yeah, this was really good. Darby has had 5 coffin matches total with this company, I believe. Sorry, 6 counting this one. Because he's won 4. He lost his last one to Jack Perry at All In, which that kind of just came and went. And then this match, by the time we get to the end of this match, like you could barely even close the coffin because it's like all dented up and smashed up on the top because all these guys are getting like slammed against it. Darby took this crazy bump on it, and like Mox is getting like thrown around. So by the time Darby does get thrown in and casket gets closed, it does feel like this was a absolute war.
Yeah.
I love that aspect to it. Again, love Pac is back. I sorely miss Pac. Again, day one AEW fans.
Yep.
Eating very well. So happy to see this guy back. The segment we got later in the night where Mox is like, yeah, don't worry, I'll handle this. So you guys get out of here. And so the rest of the Death Riders jump in the back of their pickup truck, peel off and get out of there. And he goes to open the casket. Darby jumps out of there, starts beating on him, puts him in the body bag, and then lights it on fire, tries to set this guy on fire. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Mox looked like a hot pocket. His little head was hanging out the top of the thing. I'm like, nah, don't light my homie.
You are a hot, not you are a hot pocket, like homeboy was calling Maul. You are a hot pocket.
Set my guy on fire. National television. Nobody's there to help him. I'm like, this is insane. Great visual though. I love that. Like Darby is legit saying, I'm gonna kill this dude, dog. There's nothing you can do to stop
What
me.
are you gonna pick? Yeah, but also like I thought like I said, the finish also was great. The revelation that what Brian whispered in his ear is I got that bag for you.
Mhm.
And shout out to Trevor Dane, made one of the best jokes of the night that Brian hates Mox so much that he gave him a plastic bag and not a paper bag. Um, Darby proceeds to try to strangle him with the plastic, and Brian's on commentary whispering, "That's right, strangle him." Really great stuff.
Now, Brian wanted him to kill that motherfucker for points of it. He wanted him to extract that revenge. But I think that also plays in the story because, like, Darby wasn't really doing it. Like his thing isn't to set, like, if he were to end John Moxley, it's not going to be with this plastic bag. Like, he's like
No,
doing it to kind of appease Brian and add that element, but he wants to, like, throw him off a building or set him on fire, you know?
yeah. But yeah, I figured coming into this match, this was not the end of Darby versus Mox, and that's why I assumed going into it that Darby was going to lose. That was kind of my bold prediction coming into this show because Darby, this is his match. The coffin match is his signature match. He won 4 straight before he won Jack Perry, so the idea of him going to lose 2 in a row felt kind of off. But I was like, nah, this feud's not over. Something's gonna happen. I thought maybe it's going to lead to Dan Garcia helping him win, but the return of Pac is what helped Mox get the win here. And I don't know how we're going to end this feud. Darby is going to try to do something very violent to Moxley.
Yeah.
I don't know what. And this guy's crazy, so he's going to try to do something really stupid.
That so a couple of people have pitched this. I've seen in a couple chats. Bring back awful results the first time. Exploding death match.
I wouldn't be mad at it personally.
If they get it right this time, though, you know,
I wouldn't be mad at it. Bring back the exploding barbed wire death match. I think that would add to this.
Like, if they could get the end right, it will hit. Is all
Yeah.
I'm saying. They got to get the end right, though. They can't have the same thing happen again.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Death Riders are in a really good place with just the
I'm fucking with
storytelling right now. And you know, I don't know how much of this you saw, but we're now trying to rewrite history with the Death Riders. Because I said on the timeline, yeah, Death Riders they've turned it around. This is they're one of the best acts in the group now. I mean, in the company now. And people like they always were. People just weren't patient. That's not true. Some of this Death Rider stuff was not good. It's okay. I think that it changed. I think that part of what helped them is that we did get a rewarding end to Mox's title reign. But early on, some of this Death Rider stuff was not good.
It wasn't working. There was a couple of those John Moxley title defenses, like the Copeland one. There's a couple of them where it's like, I don't really. The mission statement that they were saying and what they were actually doing didn't match up. I think the reason that they work now is because everything that Mox is talking about, they're doing it. It's like the words are actually matching the statements.
Yeah, and the thing that I kept waiting for early on was, okay, you got to give us more of a reason to care about the individual members of this group. It doesn't just feel like Mox and all of his lackeys.
Mox and gang.
It feels like this is going somewhere. There's story stuff that they're doing here that played into the women's title match. There's stuff that they're doing with Daniel Garcia. Like you said, more and more you're seeing like, wait a minute, there's a little dissension there that they're teasing. There's some actual story here that I'm interested in that wasn't happening earlier in the year. It was them doing these repetitive beatdown segments, trying
they
to
were
pour
the NWO. NWO mixed with Bloodline, and it didn't work.
Yeah, trying to pour Clorox bleach down people's throats and stuff. It wasn't really hitting like that for me. But this is improved a lot. Like I said earlier, it seems like they're setting up a tag team match with Brian and Daniel Garcia taking on possibly Eddie Kingston and Hook, who came out to save Eddie at the end of his match.
That's right.
Hook has teased since he didn't rejoin the Ops that he's got to find his own crew. Putting it with Eddie makes a lot of sense.
I like it.
You know, doing the Averex and Tim's connection makes a lot of sense.
New York, big city of dreams. Come on.
But yeah, just that matchup I think is going to hit Eddie and Hook versus Mox and Daniel Garcia. If we do
Mm-hmm.
get that,
Yep. Yeah, but I think the energy people on the Wednesday show think I'm always joking, but the Death Riders are dope. They
yeah,
like are not a grown part of the show anymore. Like I like their shit. Daniel Garcia added something to it. Like I think they're
yeah,
a totally completely different group than 6 months ago.
yeah. I see somebody in the chat also pointing out this would also be a good place to add Ortiz, um,
Ah,
Ortiz
he
and
needs something.
Kingston and Hook, just to add some numbers here.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that works.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, by the way, one of my takeaways from the Eddie and Big Bill matches,
Mm-hmm.
Big Bill is underrated, man. Big Bill is better than a lot of people are giving him credit. Every time they give him a chance to showcase how good he is, I see it. Like when he's been in those big multi-man matches, I'm like, dude, this guy is a lot better than people give him credit for.
Big Bill is underutilized, honestly. I
Definitely.
remember someone told us a story one time about Big Bill and how Big Bill feels about Big Bill, and I remember being like, I don't know, but now I'm like, no,
He's
I'm in.
trying to prove the point.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm like, no, Big Bill has capitalized on every moment given. He always shines every time he's on TV. I think he's a tremendous talent, and I think they should give him more. The way that they be thinking about and looking at another big giant guy that was here for a little bit, maybe give Big Bill that spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got the women's championship match. Chris
Mm,
Statlander took on Jamie Hayter,
wow.
Tekla, and Timeless Tony Storm. The video package they aired during the countdown for this was incredible. I
Mm-hmm.
was so glad that they played it before the match as well. I think it emphasizes what Tony Storm does well, and why she was champion, because you get such great promotion out of her. She's such a unique wrestling character, and doing like this movie trailer for the match, that was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It also helped to, tell the story of the match and give each woman their distinct character. Um, so I loved it. It had a
Yeah.
very like noir style to it.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. The match itself, that was fine. I There was bits of it that was kind of like, I don't know. How do you? Of course, we got a big shock finish to this, but
Mm-hmm.
bits of it, I was just kind of like, I don't know. This might have been served better as a one-on-one match.
You think so? No, I think I kind of liked elements of it. I think the reason that I liked it because it was 1,000 miles per hour. Like there was
Hmm.
not a moment that any of the women could breathe. If one hits a move, they're getting attacked. If one, it was just so like bam, 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 bam. Um, I think the shock finish I like so much is probably enhancing what I liked about the
Hmm.
match. Um, Tony Storm going into it, our prediction was all Tony Storm. Like I didn't think there
Yeah.
was a moment that anybody else was just because of what you're describing here. I thought that maybe the best way to end a reign like Tony's been having and end something like that is a one-on-one match with the story with two people telling it, kind of moving into this. But I think we would have never gotten the shock of what eventually happened if it was built that way. Um, I think, yeah, giving all the ladies just an opportunity to go out there, do a bunch of shit. We've seen a lot of spots foo in this show, and giving the ladies an opportunity to kind of do that was fun. But the shock finish is what really did this. Chris Statlander with the Willer Yuta tribute pin got the 1-2-3 victory over Tony Storm in a very surprising, unexpected win. Philip Lindsay and I interviewed Chris Statlander on the Grapsody YouTube channel. And even then, I was like, man, it's going to be a great showing for Chris, but like Tony's going to blah, blah, blah. And so getting that real shock finish, real emotion attached to it. Chris is a long time AEW day one wrestler that fans are invested in. So it actually hit. Like I liked it a lot. I loved it. It actually was my favorite moment of it the whole night, I think.
Yes. I think my thinking of when I said it might have been better served as a one-on-one match, because I think there were good moments in this match, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think overall it was like a cohesive match. And I think
Right.
the thing that set this apart from the triple threat match is that yeah, there were like big moments, and uh Dorada came off as like this big breakout star from it. But I think the overarching story of it worked better than this match. And
Right.
I don't think that this match had as clear of a direction throughout.
I
And
don't think that this was more about the moment than the match. So I hear what you're saying. Like I'm not gonna
yeah,
be like I need to watch that match again. I'm gonna be like more like I need to watch that finish again. And like the triple threat match is like I need to watch that match again. That shit was crazy. So I definitely hear you.
yeah. But I
Mhm.
thought that over like across the board, like the women came off well. I thought Jamie
It
looked
did.
great. I thought Jamie performed very well here. I think when they put her in these kind of matches on a big stage, she has looked just as good as you want her to since she's
Tremendous.
come back. She's hit like the big lariats in this, like some of the like counters and exchanges she had in here were strong. I thought Tekla looked good.
Tekla's
Um,
killing it. She's
the,
destroying.
there were quiet moments in this match where she started to get into her offense, and you can start to heal like the well of the Tekla chant starting. Might not be this weekend, but eventually she's gonna get a big win.
Yeah.
This wasn't quite her moment yet, but I love like how quickly the fan base has really taken to her.
She might not be able to be healed for too much longer, Phil, because I feel like everybody's like, we love her some Tekla, and like she's trying to be in this triangle of madness thing and what they represent. But like you said, there's something's growing with the fans about her and what
Mm-hmm.
she represents. But she also plays such a great heel that she could be opposition to any champion. Like she's already great opposition to Stat. She's great opposition to Tony. She's great opposition to Jamie Hayter. Like she just represents such a great role there.
Yeah, she was great here. Um, I hope we're not done with the Amanada feud. I hope that
Mhm.
match Wednesday wasn't the end because that
Mhm.
kind of felt like, all right, that's it.
Kind of
Um,
short.
kind of short, but I did like what we got out of here. I'm man, Statlander, man. Like Statlander is one of the best wrestlers in this division for a reason. I think there's a reason why so many people come into this company or are looking at this company from afar and they're like they want a Statlander match because she's
Yep.
good. I think she is easily one of the best day one acquisitions for this company. I remember how things changed when she came in. It was like her and Swole came in at the same time. And I
Mhm.
remember just like how much things changed around her. Like, we could just put this title on her. And, then unfortunately she got injured
Mhm.
and had to take some time off. And then she came back and then she had some other struggles with the knee injury. And, there's been inconsistencies with her character and her direction. But she just has felt overdue for a long time. When she did our interview, and said that she had not been in a world championship in 4 years. I was really sitting there thinking, like, how's that possible? Um,
Didn't feel possible. Was like, no, that shouldn't be right. Because why would they do that?
that just didn't feel possible. But man, she's been so good, and she's been such a big part of so many things with this company that kind of feels like, man, what were they waiting on? Like, I thought her and Willow at one point had one of the best feuds in this division. They stole the show at All Out that year when they had the big hardcore match, and so it felt like, man, when are they going to get back to this? Easily, probably gave Mercedes her best match with the company.
Yep.
Um, so I think that this was the right time to put her back in the fray and put her in a world title. And then, like I said, with just where the company has been really trying to reward day one AEW wrestlers, it was the right time to give her the big win. I
Mhm.
just wish that they had handled it a bit better. It felt a bit anticlimactic because the ending to this match felt very abrupt. Now,
Mhm.
I think the story element there of Willie Yuta showing up at the beginning of the match and trying to continue to tempt her to listen to him and join the Death Riders, and he's trying to give her advice. He gives her the advice to use the seatbelt. He
Mhm.
uses that at the end of the match, and that's how she picks up the win over Tony Storm. Tony Storm's shocked face at the end was hilarious. Um, there's a bit to this that I also really like that Tony, because she's really been traumatized by all of the stuff with Mariah. She's been saying this whole time that I am looking for my murder. I'm looking for this
Mhm.
person. If you're gonna take this belt off me, you gotta kill me because
Right.
I've went through hell to get this belt. So if you think you're gonna take this belt off me, you're gonna kill me. And she just gets up, just rolling up to lose. And she's so shocked by it because she's kind of like, well, what does this mean for me anymore? Because I've built
Mhm.
this up in my mind as this thing, but it's because she's still in some ways not over everything that happened with her and Mariah. So
Yep.
I think that's a really, really good story. I just
Mhm.
wish that they handled the end of her reign a bit better and made it feel like a bigger deal. But that might be just a difference in like the way we see these things. Because again, the
Yeah.
story element of how we got here wasn't bad. It just felt a bit kind of off with the way that they, especially the way they built to this match as well.
Mhm.
Um, but never going to be too upset with a big surprise win. Statlander
Exactly.
deserved this. Really happy for her because this was very overdue. Um, I should have known when she said she hasn't challenged for the title in 4 years. Because usually when a wrestler and companies draw attention to that kind of thing, that means something. And
Mhm.
then she came out with new music too. I was like,
Mhm.
the more and more I thought about it afterwards, I was like, oh, they were telling us in so many words she was
They
going to be.
were. I was like, oh yeah, they gave us an interview with her. Like out of I was
She,
like,
she
okay,
did
they
a
were
few
like,
interviews.
yeah, exactly. She was like running the thing and the new music and everything surrounding it was like, oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
kind of setting this up. But yeah, I think the way we need this is needed. Like I think that they had to not sacrifice Tony's run, but they have to establish that there can sometimes be moments like this where we don't have the predicted winner. It isn't just, oh yeah, at Full Gear because they've had this many matches, that's going to be it, or because they're locked in this feud and they've done 3 matches and the fourth match is like, I hate that we've always had this predetermined thing. I want to watch a show, not know what's going to happen, and get a surprise uh result, a surprise win, a surprise title change on the pay-per-view, but that still makes sense in the context of the story. So I liked it. I think it doesn't have to be every single championship, but we do have to establish some of these belts can be won by other great wrestlers in the company.
Yeah, I do think that because Tony and Mercedes have been on top of the division for so long, they did need a big moment for the women. I do think they needed a surprise to shake things up. And shout out to friend of the show, Lyric. She's been saying for a while that they needed to show the rest of the division that there's room for upward momentum for the rest of the women.
Right.
And I think that that's been lacking for quite a while. People are still waiting for Willow to get a big win, and
Mhm.
we've been waiting a long time for that. We've been waiting even longer for Statlander to get a big win. I mean, just think
Right.
about how upset people were when Ruby beat her in the Owen that year because people
Mhm.
want Statlander to get her moment. And
Mhm.
so I think that that came across well here. The gasp in that crowd when she won, people were legitimately shocked, and that's
Yeah.
a good thing. I do think we're probably heading towards a rematch. That's probably going to be the Wrestle Dream match, I would assume.
Mhm.
Statlander versus Tony. Um, that's a big match for Statlander. I think that you can do a lot out of that. And if we're heading to tag titles, you've got so many things you can do with that. You could eventually circle back to Statlander and Willow. You've got Tony and Mina as a tag team that you can work
Mhm.
with. You've
Mhm.
got the Triangle of Madness, where you can go with Julia and Sky Blue. You've got Penelope and Megan Bain. You've got a
Yeah.
couple of options of tag teams, but then also this opens a lot with Statlander's champion.
Mhm.
I don't buy that she's turning heel. I think that this Death Rider stuff is a red herring. The way her music and everything, that is not a heel song.
It's
This
not.
all feels like babyface stuff. Like even her in the press conference, I was like, yeah, no, this still feels like her the babyface. I'm not buying this Death Rider thing. But now you've got options for her coming out of this. You've got the Beth
Yep.
match that you could do, that you can make that a big championship match for her. You've got the rematch with Megan Bain. You've
Mhm.
got um you've got a Tekla match you could get to. You've got Jamie. You've got options.
Yep. She has a bunch of options, and I think it opens up a little bit more of what it would have been with Tony, because people are going to continue going in with whoever challenges Tony's not going to beat her until we get to like Megan Bain. This is any of those women that you described has an opportunity to beat Chris, and we'll all believe them as believable challengers. And I think that kind of opens up the division a bit. Like Lyric was describing, is like it has to feel like you can work in this company and actually get something, and then it's not just belts aren't just reserved for certain women. It's like if you work hard, you could be champion too. And I think this Chris Statlander thing opens it. She has a lot of opponents going into this. I think it's going to be really good for the division, and it also opens up when if Tony's not champions, she still can be involved in big stories and big angles with another women's wrestler as not the champion just because of what she represents now.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about Tony is that you can see that Tony Khan really sees her as a big star at this point. She's going to be on TV with or without that belt.
Right.
There's so much stuff you can do with her character. I think the idea of Tony and Owen next year is somebody that's never won the Owen, and of course she debuted in the Owen, and then you had 2 years in a row where Owen winners came gunning for her right away. So I think the idea of her and Owen next year would be really cool. And I said this elsewhere on another podcast. If this is me with this pencil, I think the final for the Owen next year should be Tony versus Mercedes.
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
So I don't know. We got places to go with it. I do think they've got to figure out what they're going to do with the TBS title.
They do
going forward. But yeah, you needed something like this for this women's division, and I do think if you're going to do things like a women's blood and guts or women's tag titles, you've got to get to it. You got to at this point make the announcements. You got to move forward.
It has to just become the norm. We can't start. We got to be past the first time ever everything. So we just got to start moving to it.
We can't keep getting these like answers every time somebody asks, well, I think that's a great idea. Well, you're the guy that can do it. Like, what are we waiting on? And we know that tag titles exist. He said before that the belts were already made. So, hey, man, unveil them. What's going on?
I love that. Like, you're the guy. You know that you're the guy that could do these things, right? Like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's reconvene. Like, you could say yes right now.
Yeah. We got the big 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Bro Dito took on the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and Hechicero, Josh Alexander, in his home country.
This was a dangerous match, Phil. There was a lot of I've talked before how ladder matches kind of scare me. Like, I love them. They're a spectacle. They're crazy. They produce some amazing moments, but they're so scary. There's a bunch of elements in this where I was like, that's scary. That's dangerous. I hope everybody's okay. But like, if you came to this show wanting some spot food, crazy shit, everybody doing a million things, this was the match for you. There was tables in this. There was ladders in this. So many cool moments of people flying in the ring. Nick Jackson did his infamous try to push me off the ladder, but I springboard off the top and flip to the outside spot. That's amazing. Jet Speed in this was incredible. I think Kevin Knight does so many simple things, just like jumping over a ladder that they're trying to hit you with, or springboarding into this, that are like, how do you do this? It like separates him in a match full of exceptional wrestlers. Like, he stood out a lot. Brody King killing guys. He killed Mike Bailey at one point with that Fire Thunder driver from the apron through the ladder. There is a lot of great fun stuff in this match, Phil.
Yeah, big dangerous match.
Super dangerous.
Kevin Knight is effortlessly cool, does like uber athletic stuff. At one point, 4 guys picked up a ladder while he was on it and then just proceeded to tip it over, and he then landed through 2 chairs, through 2 tables, and I was like, oh my God, please be okay. Yeah, but there was a lot of crazy stuff like that you would expect from ladder matches. Ladder matches can feel very formulaic now because we've seen so many of them, especially like these kind of ladder matches with a bunch of guys in it. But I thought it was enough here that this went like 100 miles an hour. This was very different from some of the other big plunder matches. And I feel like you needed something like this right after that women's match to like really change because I feel like the show really picked up during the trios match,
Mhm.
and then Dorada just decided I'm gonna get this crowd to make noise, and so
Right.
the crowd got louder and louder during that. And I do think there were certain spots in the show where the matches were good, but the crowd could have been better, like you said, the women's
Mhm.
matches. But the crowd was pretty much into this match. I thought that you know, they were on and off, like I said, throughout the show. But I thought that they were good throughout this match because this is the kind of match for, sicko AEW fans.
Big
But
moments.
yeah, but Brody though still very over. Picked up the win here. I thought that was the right move. I think it's too soon to put the belts back on the Bucks.
Yeah, it is.
There's more stuff you can do with them in this down bad phase. I do think they're eventually going to turn face. And you've got so much other stuff you can do in the meantime with them, which they immediately teased at the end of this match because we got the return of Jack Perry. I love that Jack showed up without music and he was just kind of standing there and then tries to attack both these guys by himself. They're setting him up for the BT trigger and he does his trademark smirk at this point. And that set up, I thought, a great video package of him digging up the coffin of Luchasaurus, and then we get the second half that was played for Luchasaurus's return earlier this year, with him reviving him with whatever that raspberry jelly injected him with. I don't know what the hell that was. And so that set up the return of Killswitch / Luchasaurus. He comes out, helps Jack fend off the Young Bucks, rips off his Killswitch belt. He's officially Luchasaurus again. Jurassic Express is back again. Day one, AEW fans rejoice. And then they did it.
They did it.
People tried to say that I was crazy when I
it.
said this on Twitter because I was like, nah, get back to it, man. Get the brown
you had
trunk.
to.
Tarzan boy hit, and I was like, nah, we're back, buddy. We can move on from this scapegoat thing. We can act that was a moment in time. It was time, man. Jurassic Express is back. Very underrated tag team. I thought that they had a great run as tag champions. And I'm looking forward to this matchup of them going against the Young Bucks in this iteration. And the idea of them back in a mix. The tag division really needed a team like this that was like an established team, and you could put them in a mix like with FDR, with like even like the Demand. Like there's so many teams you could put them in a mix with, and I'm instantly interested. I don't think we're done with like the potential of Jack Perry as a singles wrestler, but
no,
he Jurassic Express reunion was the way to go. I was like, nah, we're back, buddy.
Yeah, I was wondering for some weeks now, some months now, why they kept calling him Killswitch. I was like, dog, his name's Luchasaurus. Why are they still calling him that? And then last night I was like, oh, because they needed this moment to get him back. We've talked multiple times on this podcast, Phil, about Jack Perry. You like Jack Perry. We all know. We all know what the things are. We all know how we feel about all the events that have taken place in the last 2 years. Just got to get this guy back in the ring, get him back to what made people love him. Because at the beginning of this company, Jack Perry was one of the most over guys in the company. He was at the upfronts when this company was created. Like they were trying to establish him as one of the guys. And a big part of the reason that people loved him was because he was standing next to Luchasaurus and they had some kind of magic and their friendship made people feel a type of way. So it was like, when Jack Perry was doing the scapegoat stuff and they were trying to switch all this stuff, it's like, well, you guys have eliminated all the elements that make people love Jack Perry. I know you're trying to make him heel, but this stuff isn't it. This isn't the way to do it. You were either going to have to do something completely different or add some of the old elements back in. So I understand why they immediately sent him back in. This is also very important, Phil, because this has kind of been off the backs of the returning BTE. Like they've told a bit of this story on the internet, and it's kind of the old school way that AEW started with.
Again,
we got angles on the internet that are playing up on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, again, we're back, buddy. We got that the knife segment that was played from BTE, and that was mentioned on commentary when Jack showed up. Very much feels like year one AEW stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The I think the issue, because I hear you. I think that Jack has always been great at playing to a crowd, even as a
Yeah.
heel. I think he's great at getting a reaction out of a crowd. Um, and I think he could do that as a heel. He didn't quite figure it out in terms of like the in-ring stuff as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like some of the best wrestlers have struggled with that. Like Tony struggled with that at one point when she first started the timeless gimmick.
She
And
did.
I don't think that Jack ever quite figured that aspect out. And I also didn't feel like he ever quite fit in with the elite.
No, he
Um,
didn't.
and so I felt like it was time to just cut their losses and just go back to Jurassic Express.
Mm-hmm.
Very much looking forward to him going back to his style of wrestling in Jurassic Express and then wrestling the Young Bucks, who have been, in my mind, tag team of the year.
Yep.
Um, so I'm all for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw people that are like, I don't want him to be Jungle Boy anymore. He's grown past it. Nah, buddy.
Mm-mm.
Get Tarzan Boy back on our TVs. It's time.
Yeah, when people are like, "This is regressing," he's moving backwards. I'm like, "Nah, you don't really
He's fine.
understand what this is, guys. I think this is it's neat. He's not going to go fully 100% back to that, but you need to have some of those elements with some new elements and make a great stew because he's still trying to figure it out as a wrestler, like you're saying.
The thing people are forgetting as well, because everything got murky with the all in situation and the
Mm-hmm.
glass and all the rest of the stuff is at one point people thought that Jack needed something and that's why he turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
And then when all of this stuff happened with Punk and he went away and you gave people a chance to miss him, when he came back as a heel, people wanted to see him. And so
Yeah.
I think more and more people are like, we want this guy on TV. And it was kind of wild that he wasn't there. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he still needs to do like the heel stuff to give people a reason to care about him, because people
Right.
clearly care.
They care.
Um, I just don't think that he ever really evolved as a heel character. I don't think he ever
Mhm.
quite figured it out with the in-ring stuff. I think that there was an idea there as the scapegoat, but it never felt like a fully formed thing.
Mm-hmm. The what made Jack Perry hot in the beginning was the hot. He would get the hot tag in the match with
Hmm.
Luchasaurus and Jurassic Express, and that's when you would really understand what made him that. He couldn't harness that energy into what his heel persona was, and trying to flip the matches into being. Why do we care about Hill Jack Perry? Nobody ever started to care about Hill Jack Perry,
Yeah, yeah,
the scapegoat.
yeah. I'm very much glad we can move on from these glass jokes and
Dang.
some of this other stuff. Let's just let him be Jungle Boy. I think that there's so many people that were affected by some of the Punk stuff, and you know there was this dark cloud around a lot of this stuff, and I'm glad that we've officially moved on with a lot of these wrestlers and characters, because it was time. Like
Mhm.
Hangman has benefited so much from moving on into being a world champion again. The Bucks are back to doing BTE and the stuff that they famously did with this company, that was like foundational stuff for this company.
Right.
So I feel like it's only right that Jack does the same thing. It's time. It's time to
Mhm.
move on.
This show felt like you're describing through a lot of this of them trying to reestablish that. We got a segment at one point in this with the conglomeration, and they're making a declaration. Mark Briscoe's making a declaration that he wants to take on the Don Callis family, and he's like, "Look, we're gonna wrestle on Wednesday, and I'm gonna team with Hologram, and we're also gonna team with the mystery opponent." And Kyle O'Reilly's on the phone, and they're like, "Kyle, is he ready?" And everybody's like, "He's ready," and they give this thumbs up. So it seems like they're teeing up the return of another day one established guy of Orange Cassidy. And so getting all these elements back, Wednesday's Dynamite and moving forward are going to look kind of different, Phil, but also kind of the same because it's a lot of people that establish this brand.
Yeah, like you said early on, with the injuries coming into the show, there was some doubt. And I completely forgot about this segment because a lot happened yesterday. But you're all right. The
Mhm.
conglomeration segment happened. People were excited about the conglomeration, especially after Mark got the big win. But we got that report at one point that one of the day one hoopers is ready, and we got this segment. I was looking around. I was like, oh, no. Gotta drop a bomb for my guy. Back to AEW. The Denim Sloth God is coming back, man. I'm ready, bro. Get it back on our TV. Orange Cassidy is coming back. Thumbs up, whatever. I'm sure he wouldn't be as excited as I am. He wouldn't care about these bombs. He would be very confused by the whole thing. But nah, man. Orange Cassidy coming back at the same time as Pac being on our team. Come on, dog. Bro.
Sir.
Get to it, dog.
We back.
We're here,
We
man.
back.
We are here.
We back. Tarzan boys back. Come on, dog. Come on. The elements are here, dog.
Come on, man. Come on. Listen, I was very excited when I saw for sure we got our confirmation. The Orange Cassidy's coming back, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be in Pittsburgh next week.
Yep.
That's setting up another day one AEW wrestler, you think?
I've heard a lot of people mentioning it. There's a lot of fanfare. No, I wouldn't say a lot. There's fanfare of people saying, I think somebody in the press conference was asking about a Pittsburgh's favorite. And I'm like, I don't know. Could be. You think that person fits in here still, Phil?
I will say if Britt Baker does not show up next week in Pittsburgh, it might be over.
Right.
Because I don't know where else you bring her back in.
Mm-hmm. Like if you can't pull up here, then where the fuck can she?
If you don't think you're gonna get a pop for Britt in Pittsburgh, it might be over.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's been gone for over a year at this point.
Yeah, and not injury gone for most of it, just gone.
Yeah. So we might I don't know where she fits in, but yeah. But
like none of them plans that we talked about earlier with the women's division. Well, it's and then Britt Baker will be here. You know.
I mean, well, I will say if you're setting up women's tag titles, I don't think it's a terrible idea to put Britt with somebody and do a tag team, especially if you're going to do a tag team tournament.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a terrible idea.
That's true. Whom though?
Yeah. Jamie made a lot of sense at one point. I don't see that happening.
Wouldn't make sense now.
Who could Britt team up with? Now, a lot of people in the chat are saying Deanna. Deanna makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
They're, of course, friends in real life.
Yep.
That
could work.
Maybe out of left field.
Can they coexist?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe out of left field. Britt and a returning Sheeta also makes a lot of sense as a tag team. I don't know. But I am curious if we're going to see her next week in Pittsburgh.
But
yeah, last we got our main event. Hangman Adam Page took on Kyle Fletcher for the AEW World Championship. This was a long show. Definitely got our money's worth.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know what we were going to get out of this match because, like I said, it was a very long show, but I thought this match was heat, man. Like these two guys went for it. If you needed any proof that Kyle Fletcher is the future of this company and this guy belongs in the main event, he definitely proved he belonged here. And I do believe this guy is going to be a future AEW World Champion.
Yeah, I think this was we've seen a bunch of tests for Kyle Fletcher. We've seen the Ospreay stuff. We've seen him in big moments. But if this was like the top guy, can you main event test? Flying colors past this. Like he controlled a lot of this match. He looked confident in there. He looked like a big star. Some of those kicks that he was kind of basing the match around, Phil, the corner running
thrust kicks, bro.
Thing. What?
Some of them thrust kicks, he was just like peppering in there, like, bro. Like, and just the timing he was hitting them with, just how precise they were. Like, at one point, Hangman tried to hit like a moonsault, and he hit some like clean in the face while he's coming down off the rope. Crazy. The brain busters he was hitting in this match, like the brain buster he hit on the timekeeper's table. The one that he rolls him, he hits him with one on the timekeeper's table, rolls him into the ring, and hits him with another one. I thought that was it, because that looked filthy.
Yeah, the strikes he had in this, the brain busters he had in this, just staying on top of Hangman for so much of this were great. But Hangman Adam Page, I think, in this was tremendous. Coming in as the hero, the top guy, the world champion, and fighting from behind for a lot of this, but using all the great elements that brought him to this, using his lariat to get Kyle Fletcher off guard. The Deadeye that he hit from the apron to the table on the outside was absolutely disgusting. Kyle Fletcher landed right on his fucking head. As much on your head as you can land from the height like that. He hit another one from the second rope that was just as disgusting. I'm like, no, he's trying to kill my guy Kyle Fletcher out here, I think, with some of these strikes and some of these slams out here. This was it felt like both desperation from both guys, of Hangman trying to be the world champion, trying to prove he could defend this, trying to prove a younger, faster than him right now guy can't beat him. Fletcher's trying to prove that he deserves to be in this element. He's throwing off things. At one point I thought he was going to hit the top rope brain buster, but Hangman got out of that, and it was pretty intensive, considering we saw a lot of like plunder matches and stuff, and this was just one-on-one, no weapons, just two guys fighting each other.
Straightforward, kind of like New Japan style match.
Yes.
So went over 30 minutes. It had kind of like the same pacing of a New Japan match as some of the table spots of a New Japan match. Yeah, I love the story coming into this, that Kyle is like, I'm the man. I'm TNT champion. And he's been doing all these things from feeling like he has to be as violent as possible and like wrecking people. He destroyed Dustin Rhodes to win the title. A big part of his feud with Will Ospreay was like, I'm trying to kill you. I hate you. And so he thinks that that's just the way to beat everybody. And because Hangman has been through hell and back, he's just like, yeah, I think you think because you've been running around getting big wins, you look like the man, and you're like, driven by revenge and all these things, that you're ready to hold this belt. You're not ready for this belt and the things you have to do to win this belt and the things you got to do to keep it. You think because you've been in feuds where you've done very violent things, that's enough. Nah, it's not enough. I think that was definitely something that was put over during the Hangman and Will feud, and it feels like they continued that kind of storyline here, where it's like, if you want to hold this belt, it's not just that you got to be good. You got to feel like there's a need for you to be the guy that holds this belt and lead this company. And you're not ready to be that guy yet, because you're still worried about a lot of things that don't matter. And that came across very well in this match, because Hangman came in with the kinesio tape on his neck and shoulder. And so Kyle did what any wrestler would do. He was like, I'm going to target that area. So he was hitting the brain busters and very much targeting that neck throughout this match. At one point, Hangman is like trying to like fidget with his neck and fidget with the tape. And like I said, fucking Kyle rubbing his hands together like, I'm going to get him. And so he's trying to hurt this man multiple times, because that's been such a big part of what he has done as a heel. But that's not enough. Particularly, there's a spot toward the end of the match where he's got Hangman down, and he gets a great near fall out of one of these brain busters. And instead of just finishing the match, he's being petty. He's like kicking him in the head. He's like walking around toying with him. And that's the point. You weren't ready to just do what you needed to do to win this match. And not just that, do what you need to do to lead this company, because you're just trying to humiliate me and hurt me, because that's what you care about more than anything. That was the story of this match. And I thought that was executed exceptionally well.
There's kind of layers to that too, because he's an Ospreay protege, and that was Ospreay's problem too. Same exact thing of like not focusing in when it got to those desperation moments, kind of kidding around and not going for the kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's very telling that at one point Hangman hit the big pressure to try to win this match because it's the same lesson that Swerve was trying to teach Ospreay. Like, bro, you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready to leave this company. You're not desperate enough. You're not hungry enough to hold this belt.
Right.
And I thought that was handled very well. The match itself, the near falls in this match, like I said, the thrust kicks that Kyle was hitting, some of the
Mm.
big moves on the apron, that just crazy. That avalanche dead eye looked disgusting. I thought that was a great way to come out from under what looked like a avalanche brainbuster. Um, the exchanges of like the exchanges of the other finishers, like because of course coming into this match, Kyle Fletcher injured Kenny Omega. He had to
Mm-hmm.
be uh, stretchered out of the building. And so at one point, Hangman hits the V trigger, tries to go for the one winged angel. Like I said, he hit the big pressure at one point. Um, Kyle Fletcher tries to use the Stormbreaker. All of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff was cool. But like, yeah, that avalanche Deadeye to set up the final, so we can finally get the buckshot Larry because he kept trying to go for it multiple times,
Yep.
and every time he tried to go for it, uh, Kyle would quickly get to the rope and do something to knock him off the apron, like hit him with a thrust kick or force him back
Mm-hmm.
in the ring. But once he finally hits the buckshot Larry, then the match is over. Perfect ending to this match. Perfectly handled story.
Mm-hmm.
Clean finish to a main
Clean.
event.
Yeah.
Uh,
Refreshing.
and we didn't need like Hangman getting to the top of the ramp and celebrating, and then somebody jumps him. Like just in the pay per view, like that's it.
No hoodie reveal, no
Yeah.
nothing. Just a good match between two guys trying to fight for this world championship, and then that's it.
Yeah, really good main event from these two guys. Like I said, Kyle Fletcher's future
Thought it
of
was
this company.
strong. Yeah.
Hangman looked great as this
Mm-hmm.
big baby face, and they did enough to lull us to sleep with the Max stuff because he lost back-to-back matches. So people aren't even thinking about the fact that he still had that contract that's still coming. I think that was great coming off of some of the stuff from the last pay-per-view because people were not happy with the handling of the contract. So
Yep.
giving Max 2 losses and having people forget about the contract for now is a nice way to eventually reintroduce it.
Yeah, it's pretty smart and leaving a satisfied because there's a couple pay-per-views this year for AEW where they've had strong shows, but the endings have left a bad taste in our mouth. We needed this. Just a strong ass match, have Hangman look like the champion in the end, holding the belt up, and that's how the show ends. They need to continue to have some of those. I like the other element too, but you want to have some feel good moments
Mhm.
to really hammer home Hangman's title reign, you know?
Yeah, I thought overall they did some great things here with the stars that are missing that are going to be out
Mm-hmm.
for a while, and then reintroducing some people from the fray, doing some unexpected surprises with like the Beth debut, and then
Yep.
bringing back Pac and some of
Mm-hmm.
the other stuff. I think, like I said, the second half of the show was very good.
It was.
There's some of the stuff from the beginning I wasn't the biggest fan of, but most of the stuff in the second half was all gas. Like I don't think they missed
Mhm.
much in second half.
I like how because Forbidden Door, while it was a great wrestling show, it felt like it was all wrestling. You didn't get a lot of the surprise returns or moments like that. And I like that this show had that to break up the wrestling. There was great wrestling, but there was also some cool moments that are going to enhance the product moving forward.
Yeah, there was only one spot because Brent Lockman is saying they thought that Jericho was going to show up to close the loop. There was only one moment that was like Jericho because the lights went down during at the end of the Big Bill and Eddie Kingston thing, and I was like,
Oh, yeah,
"Oh, is
yeah.
that Jericho?" And it ended up being Hook.
Thank you, Hook. Oh, because they were teasing the kind of selling the Eddie Kingston match was Big Bill teasing Jericho. So it could have been.
Yeah, but it was Hook. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, whew."
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. I mean, not for nothing. Eddie had a great pay-per-view match with Jericho at one point, but I was
He
like,
did.
I don't
That's not what any of this story would have needed in that place. So it worked out for us.
know. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, good pay-per-view overall.
Yeah,
Uh
strong one.
Send us your super chats.